Tim Cowlishaw. Oh, he's on the road. He's in Tampa. That's a journalist there. Dallas Morning News columnist, ESPN Around the Horn contributor. Look at that. On the road, spending some company money.
We're traveling for the first time in a couple of years. Didn't go to any road games last year.
Who has more pressure on them for the Dallas Cowboys this season? If I go Dak, Mike McCarthy, Jerry Jones, other?
I would say Dak. I think McCarthy's pressure will come quickly after one season that wasn't good. And on him, I would say very quickly, it doesn't help him that Jerry stayed so long with Jason Garrett as he did, 9.5 years. I think he realizes he had this belief in Garrett as a person because he'd known him for 25 years, and it didn't work. He has no such belief with McCarthy. He just brought him here because he was a winning coach 10 years ago in Green Bay. Now do it again. So I think his time will be fairly quick, but because of the contract, because of the injury, because of everything else, I think it's immediately on Dak, and Dak needs to have a special season to kind of make everyone feel like, okay, this wasn't a big mistake to go all in with $160 million on this guy.
Well, it's one thing to be a cute story, and then all of a sudden you get paid and it's no longer a cute story.
Right.
Dak Prescott's not a cute story anymore.
No, he's not the overachieving fourth-round pick anymore. He's the guy who makes more than every quarterback who's ever played in a Super Bowl except for Patrick Mahomes. And some people would tell you his deal is better than Mahomes' deal. So, yeah, it's whether it should be about the money or not, it is. And there is a salary cap. And while he's not killing them against the cap now, he's third on the roster this year, but then it starts going up very quickly. And we've seen other teams struggle when a quarterback is chewing up 18, 19% of the cap. We've seen teams not win because of that.
How's morale going into this season in Dallas?
I'm fine. The Dallas Morning News is ready to go. We've got 4 writers here, and we feel good about our predictions and our deadlines. But if you mean the Cowboys and fans, I just think it's very apprehensive because of this, who they're playing. If they were playing a normal game, if they were playing the Giants, who they used to open every season against, I think everybody would feel wonderful. But you have no Zach Martin, so your best lineman's gone again. Dak hasn't played in 11 months, all the things that hang over this team. And you're playing not just a Super Bowl team, but a Super Bowl team that a week ago, the coach was calling them out saying, I'll play the starters into the second half if we don't get this thing going. And Brady comes out and goes 7 for 7, and they got a touchdown. It feels like they're ready to go play the playoffs, and the Cowboys didn't even bother with the exhibition season.
Are you convinced the Cowboys are a playoff team?
I wouldn't say convinced. That's a strong word. I think it's a 2-team race between Dallas and Washington. I don't think there's a lot to separate the two. I think Washington is, if they can get a decent season out of Fitzpatrick, they might be the better team because they're so much better defensively. But I don't know if he can hold up for 17 games and not fall apart as he usually has. If Dallas has reasonable health, just normal NFL health, I think they'll win the division.
Dallas starts out with Tampa and then at the Chargers. So they could be conceivable to be 0-2, and then I know they have 3 easier games after that. But if they start out 0-2,
yeah,
what do you think? Like, you got to preach patience, but Jerry doesn't have patience sometimes.
No, and it's those easier games. Yeah, there's 3 home games coming up, New York, Philly, and Carolina. Well, just because those teams all had losing records, now I don't think Philly's very good. But I don't know what Carolina's going to do this year. It's second year for those coaches and all. And New York, they beat the Cowboys at the end of last year, and they got Barkley back. So if you're 0-2, easy games are gone. And all those games start to look tougher. Now, if you avoid 0-2, The Cowboys don't play a team that had a winning record, for whatever that's worth, between Tampa and Kansas City in the middle of November. So they have a long stretch against teams that were 500 or worse. They can do some damage if they can get their act together. But I think, like to your point, the Chargers is a very tough second game at LA. I mean, that team should be pretty good. Somebody's going to be pretty good in that division, and besides the Chiefs. It might be the Chargers.
And really, all you're asking the Cowboys to do is be average on defense. Because if you have an above-average offense, then are they capable of being an average defense?
They're not good at defensive tackle, and their defensive ends have not played well or been available the last year or two. So there's a lot of excitement about Micah Parsons and a great rookie pick. And there's some excitement about Keanu Neal coming in from Atlanta, but they're really just replacing two linebackers everybody was excited about before, Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch, a first-round pick and an almost first-round pick. So it's like they're trying to get this linebacker thing right, but if your defensive tackles in front of them are no good, and Neville Gallimore's not going to play, and Tristan Hill hasn't practiced with the team yet, then you're just got a bunch of guys up in front of him. Then you're back to having linebackers making tackles 7 yards down the field. I think tonight Tampa Bay has a great chance to run the ball a lot and do what teams did to Dallas last year. And if that happens, then everybody's gonna freak out and think this thing isn't getting better at all.
Always great to talk to you. Glad you're traveling. Have fun tonight, Tim.
Good to be here in this wonderful setting.
Yes, I can tell. The ambiance looks really, really nice. Thank you, bud. That's Tim Cowlishaw. Only the best for Tim Cowlishaw, when you're with Dallas Morning News and you're traveling. ESPN also Around the Horn contributor. Let's bring it.